I want you to work some trail legs and narrow to wides coming down the hill. Now what's important here, the constraint is the hill. The dial is a constraint. The movement pattern is explored. When he decelerates, the positions he has to hit with his midfoot, toes, underfoot fascia, and ankle now start to work on his range of motion through velocity. So we can't spend all our time trying to create range of motion slowly. We can use loaded stretches to create range of motion. We can use some static holds to create range of motion. We can use resistance and weights to create range of motion. Sometimes we want to use speed. And right now we're using velocity and the constraint of the hill to work on a ton of ankle range of motion, a ton of eccentric loading, a ton of big toe extension while he explores the patterns that he uses on the court. Anyone you want. Trail leg, narrow to wide under, narrow to wide over, delay. You can even do a delay backwards. Good, you focusing on stick and landings, control, good. Leans, whatever you start to self-organize, good. Good. Now I want you to do the same thing overhead. Go back up, go up with some patterns we're working on, freestyle.
Backwards or regular?
You go backwards. Now he's going facing forward, backwards up the hill. Now he's working on more posterior chain initially in some patterns, but the front limb, the entire anterior chain is going to be loaded and it's going to be responsible for producing force back up the hill. So some of your braking that you do on the court is being explored while you're doing patterns up the hill. Overhead, yep. Good. Let me get more angle on some of them. Good. Now more up the hill. Good. Now shoulders. Good. Shoulders again. Nice. Good. Shoulders one more time. Good. Now, we could load facing forward. You could go down the hill. Do a pattern. I want you to turn around and then mix it up and go backwards. Okay? Then you could go sideways down the hill. Keep working on freestyle, different patterns we worked on, exploring your body and your mind. Good. One more. Good. So how are we maximizing the use of a grass hill? That's what we're doing. Maximizing the usage of the constraint, which is the grass hill. Now, we went up, down, sideways up, sideways down, up facing forward, up facing backwards, right? We're exploring all this. You can also explore the hill sideways and on a roundabout. So Kyle, you don't even need anything to mark you and know, right? You're either going up the hill on an angle or we're working sideways, right? What I want you to do is get up to a portion where you could cover distance. Now I want you to work on trail legs where you're going up and then down. No doubt. Up, down. Now I'm going sideways. I'm working some resistance going up, some braking forces going down.
Mixing all three?
Yeah. Yeah. Good delay. Good. Work on how you brake. Good. 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 Now come back to me, but keep facing Natalie. Good. Good. Eyes up. Once you know the pattern, your eyes could stay up. You do not need to look at your feet to explore the pattern. Good. Step. Good. This is all pattern specific to how we alter the surface, how we alter the actual movement and constraint of the movement, and how we explore it on court with the ball, without, maybe some soft sand, grass hill, track surface, hardwood floor, right? I don't know if you remember, we also do, you do a narrow to wide and you bound off of it. So this is a narrow to wide, right? And then you used to do, say you did, sorry, let's start with trail leg. A trail leg, you would cross bounding, and he's gonna bound up the hill out of that pattern. Whereas before we were focusing on the pattern and just the resistance of the hill and the dowel. Now everything is a bound. So narrow to wide, get air time. Trail leg, get air time. Delayed acceleration, get air time. Good. Perfect. But let's work some decel pattern. So you were doing trail leg, step back, all that's fine. Let's work your lead leg a little bit. So you go into your little gallop and you just work how you do that in Hinge, and you're gonna come out and you could be here, you go gallop, load, right? You can load and stay back, Kyle, more stress to the knee, more stress to the knee tendon. You can load and Hinge, incorporates more of this. I want you to be careful with that because of your hamstring. So do it slow. Huh?
Do some block or just more lead leg?
This is more lead leg. Yeah. Good. Good. Now, as you can see, when Kyle, come here a second, when you lead leg, he lead legs and blocks, breaks, stops motion. If you stay back, the knee is under pressure. The knee tendon is under pressure. If you hinge, trunk hinge, you disperse force across a larger area into larger muscle groups, and force can dissipate. You need to learn both. You need to be able to stop with your trunk upright, and you need to be able to understand when you're going, and you might need to stop and hinge, controlling your dribble, and use the larger muscles in your lower back, your glutes, your hamstrings to disperse force. So that's why he's trying to explore both. Now do lead leg decel, hinge, where you kind of control the hinge. It's nothing super speedy or with too much velocity, just explore the pattern. Good. And now you do the same pattern with the hinge. Good. And you load, just like that. Good. That's upright. Good. Good. You got to use a lot more foot. So every time you do this, you're mobilizing your toes. And you're getting a ton of work through your ankle and Achilles.
Shoulder?
Yeah. Closer on the dowel, right there. Really exaggerate this step if you can. Over. Now, Kyle, you did over under, you're just going over. Trying to stay facing that way, but you're going to turn a little bit. Depends on your.
Did shoulders or that don't matter, right?
You could do overhead. I did shoulders. Slide, drive. Good. Good. So when we're going from a standstill where we stop, you got to continue to generate the energy, right? It's that simple. When you have a little momentum, you're able to use some energy you already built up into the movement, right? So that's why we do both, like where you just do start to build up momentum. You remember you used to run up the hill and then get into your narrow to wide, or now you're changing the stimulus. Again, we get a different adaptation. Linear bounce. See how that feels. So both arms go up as you bounce. Good. A skip. This is part of the cool down, a little cool down for us. This also could be a workout for people. It also is sprint mechanics. In basketball, you accelerate, run, and sprint. So it all starts to intertwine. Real quick, how gallops. Drive step. Drive step. Good. Same gallop pattern we used on the track. Explore it in the soft sand. Explore it on the court. They actually train thoroughbred horses with galloping. So the gallop is when your feet can't cross. So one limb is pushing and then pulling the trail leg through, right? So I'm working on, as I pull, it's posterior chain dominant. As my center of mass shifts, it becomes anterior chain dominant, and then it goes back to posterior at the end. But the key is, one more time, Kyle, look. As I gallop, I could gallop, acceleration, linear, explosive gallop. I could also work full foot and then work full foot gallops to then use my hips better and have more maneuverability and agility when I'm handling the ball. So go full foot, explore it, creative, weight shift, steps out, then come back down, linear dominant. Good, full foot, good. Explosive, yep, good. Perfect. You put hurdles out here.
Right.
You do linear, you do bounding up the hill backwards. You start doing your sprint work where you kind of like do dribbles and then accelerate. And, like, you could do all types of stuff and keep exploring how you elastically change your positioning. So you only limit what you could do by the amount of exploration that you have in your mind. Because this hill right here and the methods we have will empower you as a player.